Somebody, 2 or 3 of you out there hadn't heard the story about this. Does everybody know what the green whistle's about?
No.
In Atlanta, at the Blade Show, my wife and I, at the end of the day, went out to the parking garage, and there was a girl for the facility there with a walkie-talkie. And we said, is this elevator working? We had to go down 2 floors in the parking garage. And I was about kneed out for the day, walking on concrete, you know, most of the day. My knees were really hurting, and I wasn't going to walk down the stairs, all those flights. And so she said, well, it was broke, but we just fixed it. And I said, okay. And we went in, punched the button for floor 3, and the doors closed. And froze right there, and nothing happened. And so I said, through a crack in the door, I said, nothing happened.
Thank you. Thank you for.
She said, hold on, let me call. She called it, and blah, 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 blah. She said, she got to the crack and said, okay, we're going to turn the power off, and it'll reboot. And so, boom, it goes black, you know, except for that crack. But that also meant no air conditioning in Atlanta, Georgia on the 1st of June. So we sat in the dark 5 or 10 minutes. And finally I said, hey, it's kind of getting warm in here. She said, well, we're getting ready to turn the power back on. So bling, the power comes back on. She said, now we punch the button. So I punched the button, nothing happens. She said, okay, hit this other button. So I hit that other button. Okay, well, let's turn the power off one more time. So I turn the power off again. And this goes on. Finally she says, well, we don't know what's wrong. I'm calling the fire department to get you out. And then I'm looking through the little crack, you know, and I see a cop walk by. You know, and I said, are the police here? And she said, yeah. And I said, turned to my wife and I said, this is ridiculous. And she had sat down on my little, you know, wheeled cart thing I had my stuff in. And she was sitting there just sweating. And she's also kind of, you know, doesn't like close spots. So I'm standing there and I'm looking out there and just people are walking up and standing around and, you know, talking. And, okay, we're getting ready to call the fire department. And I said, this is stupid. You know, and I'm starting to feel, you know, this is stupid. And I just get my fingers in that crack and I go, and they're all standing there looking at me. And I'm going, do you people think you can help me hold these doors open? So finally 2 cops come up and help hold the doors under my arms, and I just jump out and I go slam. And we just started walking off, and some guy comes around, wait a minute, I need to get some information. You know, and got information from him. And as we walked up, I thought, you think they'll send us something for free? So Marge, God, if you saw this at the Blade Show the next day, and this is my elevator whistle. Help!